And welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. We hope you're all safe and well and happy in all respects. We hope you had a very nice Govardhan Puja yesterday. And here we are. We're sorry that we missed you last night, but we're very happy to be back with you again. I was just commenting to Abhaya Das Brahmachari, my able-bodied brahmachari assistant, that it's like we're coming back to the spiritual world. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur offered this poetic glorification of the Caitanya-caritämrta, not to be taken literally and imitated, but it just shows the stature that the Sri Caitanya-caritämrta had in his heart. He said, in due course, Mahäprabhu, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam. But under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after it has subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we've reached chapter 20. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahäprabhu instructs Sanätana Gosvämi in the science of the absolute truth. And this isn't going to be just one chapter. This is a lot of chapters. It's one of the major sections of the Caitanya-caritämrta. And Srila Sanatana Goswami was very special. You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave different missions and different services to his most intimate associates. Namacharya. Haridas Thakur he called the Namacharya because he was the Acharya of the chanting of the holy name. Rupa Goswami was called the Rasa Acharya, and he spent 10 days explaining the delicacies of the Rasa Tattva. And Raghunath Das Goswami, he was the Prayojana Acharya, the one who showed the perfect example of renunciation and full surrender to the holy Dham and giving up material attachment completely, even to the point of eating and sleeping. But Sanatana Goswami, he was called the Siddhanta Acharya by our previous Acharyas, because Lord Chaitanya gave him the full picture, the full teachings. So this is a very important section of Caitanya-caritämrta. We hope you relish the following summary of this chapter is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasha. When Srila Sanatana Goswami was imprisoned by Nawab Hussain Shah he received news from Rupa Goswami that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had gone to Mathura. Sanatana Goswami thereafter satisfied the superintendent of the jail by sweet solicitations and bribery. After giving the jailer 10,000 gold coins, Sanatana Goswami was released. He then crossed the Ganges and fled. One of his servants, Ishan, followed him, carrying 8 gold coins. Sanatana Goswami and his servant then spent the night in a small hotel on the way to Varanasi, Benares. The hotel owner knew that Sanatana Goswami and his servant had 8 gold coins, and he decided to kill them and take the money. Making plans in this way, the hotel owner received them as honorable guests. Sanatana Goswami, however, asked his servant how much money he had, and taking 7 of the gold coins, Sanatana offered them to the hotel owner. Thus the owner helped them cross the hilly tract and proceed toward Varanasi. On the way, Sanatana Goswami met his brother-in-law, Srikant, in Hajipur, and Srikant helped him after he had heard about all Sanatana's troubles. Thus Sanatana Goswami finally arrived at Varanasi and stood before the door of Chandrasekhar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called him in and ordered him to change his dress so that he would look like a gentleman. For his garment, he used an old cloth of Tapan Mishras. Later, he exchanged his valuable blanket for a torn quilt. At this time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with him, and thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received knowledge of the absolute truth from the Lord himself. First, they discussed the constitutional position of the living entities, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatana Goswami how the living entity is one of Lord Krishna's energies. After this, the Lord explained the way of devotional service. While discussing the absolute truth, Sri Krishna, the Lord, analyzed Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, as well as the expansions of the Lord, called Swayamrupa, Tarikatma, and Avesha, which are divided into various branches known as Vaibhava and Prabhava. Thus the Lord described the many forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also described the incarnations of God within the material world. Incarnations such as the Purusha avatars, Manvantara avatars, Guna avatars, and Shaktivesh avatars. The Lord also discussed the divisions of Krishna's different ages, such as Balya and Poganda, and the different pastimes of the different ages. He explained how Krishna attained his permanent form when he reached youth. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained and described everything to Sanatana Goswami. Text 1. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has unlimited, wonderful opulences. By his mercy, even a person born as the lowest of men can spread the science of devotional service. Shall I read that again? Thank you. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has unlimited, wonderful opulences. By his mercy, even a person born as the lowest of men can spread the science of devotional service. Text 2. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to all the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahäprabhu. 3. While Sanatana Goswami was imprisoned in Bengal, a letter arrived from Srila Rupa Goswami. Purport. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur informs us that this letter from Rupa Goswami to Sanatana Goswami is mentioned by the annotator of the Udbhata Chandrika. Srila Rupa Goswami wrote a note to Sanatana Goswami from Bakla. This note indicated that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was coming to Mathura, and it stated, "Where has the Mathura Puri of Yadupati gone? Where has the northern Koshala of Raghupati gone? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking this universe is not eternal." 4. When Sanatana Goswami received this note from Rupa Goswami, he became very pleased. He immediately went to the jail superintendent, who was a meat-eater, and spoke as follows. 5. Sanatana Goswami told the Muslim jailkeeper, "Dear sir, you are a saintly person and are very fortunate. You have full knowledge of the revealed scriptures, such as the Quran and similar books." 6. If one releases a conditioned soul or imprisoned person according to religious principles, he himself is also released from material bondage by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. It appears from this statement that Sanatana Goswami, who was formerly a minister of the Nawab, was trying to cheat the Muslim superintendent. A jail superintendent had only an ordinary education, or practically no education, and he was certainly not supposed to be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. But just to satisfy him, Sanatana Goswami praised him as a very learned scholar of the scriptures. The jailkeeper could not deny that he was a learned scholar, because when one is elevated to an exalted position, one thinks oneself fit for that position. Sanatana Goswami was correctly explaining the effects of spiritual activity, and the jailkeeper connected his statement with his release from jail. There are innumerable conditioned souls rotting in the material world, imprisoned by Maya under the spell of sense gratification. The living entity is so entranced by the spell of Maya that in conditioned life, even a pig feels satisfied. There are two kinds of covering powers exhibited by Maya. One is called prakshepatmika, prakshepatmika, and the other is called avaranatmika. When one is determined to get out of material bondage, the prakshepatmika Shakti, the spell of diversion, impels one to remain in conditioned life, fully satisfied by sense gratification. Due to the other power, avaranatmika, a conditioned soul feels satisfied even if he is rotting in the body of a pig or a worm in stool. To release a conditioned soul from material bondage is very difficult because of the spell of Maya is so strong. Because the spell of Maya is so strong. When even the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself descends to deliver conditioned souls, asking them to surrender unto him, the conditioned souls do not agree to the Lord's proposal. Therefore, Sri Sanatana Goswami said, somehow or other, if one helps another gain release from the bondage of Maya, he is certainly recognized immediately by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 1869, Nacha tasman manusheshu kachchin me kritamaha babita nacha me tasmat anyak priyataro bhuvi. The greatest service one can render to the Lord is to try to infuse devotional service into the heart of the conditioned soul, so that the conditioned soul may be released from conditioned life. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that a Vaishnava is recognized by his preaching work, that is, by convincing the conditioned soul about his eternal position, which is explained here as Nija Dharma. It is the living entity's eternal position to serve the Lord. Therefore, to help one get released from material bondage is to awaken one to the dormant understanding that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnara Nityadas. This will be further explained by the Lord himself to Sanatana Goswami. Text 7. Sanatana Goswami continued, "Previously I have done much for you. Now I am in difficulty. Please return my goodwill by releasing me." Text 8. "Here are 5,000 gold coins. Please accept them. By releasing me, you will receive the results of pious activities and gain material profit as well. Thus you will profit in two ways simultaneously." Text 9. In this way, Sanatana Goswami convinced the jailkeeper, who replied, "Please hear me, my dear sir. I am willing to release you, but I am afraid of the government." Sanatana replied, "There is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, tell him that Sanatana went to Pastul near the bank of the Ganges, and that as soon as he saw the Ganges, he jumped in." 12. "Tell him, I looked for him a long time, but I could not find any trace of him. He jumped in with his shackles, and therefore he was drowned and washed away by the waves." 13. "There is no reason for you to be afraid, for I shall not remain in this country. I shall become a mendicant and go to the holy city of Mecca." This is pure preaching. Innovative preaching. 14. Sanatana Goswami could see that the mind of the meat-eater was still not satisfied. He then stacked 7,000 gold coins before him. 15. When the meat-eater saw the coins, he was attracted to them. He then agreed, and that night he cut Sanatana's shackles and let him cross the Ganges. Haribo. 16. In this way, Sanatana Goswami was released. However, he was not able to walk the path of the fortress, along the path of the fortress. Walking day and night, he finally arrived at the hilly tract of land known as Patada. 17. After reaching Patada, he met a landholder and submissively requested him to get him across that hilly tract of land. A man who was expert in palmistry was at the time staying with the landlord. Knowing about Sanatana, he whispered the following in the landlord's ear. 19. The palmist said, "This man Sanatana possesses 8 gold coins." Hearing this, the landlord was very pleased and spoke the following to Sanatana Goswami. Text 20. The landlord said, "I shall get you across that hilly tract at night with my own men. Now just cook for yourself and take your lunch." 21. Saying this, the landlord offered Sanatana grain to cook. Sanatana then went to the riverside and took his bath. 22. Because Sanatana had been fasting for 2 days, he cooked the food and ate it. However, having formerly been a minister of the Nawab, he began to contemplate the situation. 23. As a former minister for the Nawab, Sanatana could certainly understand diplomacy. He therefore thought, why is this landlord offering me such respect? Thinking in this way, he questioned his servant, whose name was Ishan. 24. Sanatana asked his servant, Ishan, I think you have some valuable things with you. Ishan replied, yes, I have 7 gold coins. 25. Hearing this, Sanatana Goswami chastised his servant, saying, why have you brought this death knell with you? 26. Thereupon Sanatana Goswami took the 7 gold coins in his hands and went to the landlord. Holding the gold coins before him, he spoke as follows. I have these 7 gold coins with me. Please accept them, and from a religious point of view, please get me across that hilly tract of land. 28. I am a prisoner of the government, and I cannot go along the way of the ramparts. It will be very pious of you to take this money and kindly get me across this hilly tract of land. Smiling, the landlord said, before you offered them, I already knew that there were 8 gold coins in your servant's possession. On this very night, I would have killed you and taken your coins. It is very good that you have voluntarily offered them to me. I am now relieved from such a sinful activity. 31. I am very satisfied with your behavior. I shall not accept these gold coins, but I shall get you across that hilly tract of land simply to perform a pious activity. 32. Sanatana Goswami replied, if you do not accept these coins, someone else will kill me for them. It is better that you save me from the danger by accepting the coins. 33. After this settlement was made, the landlord gave Sanatana Goswami 4 watchmen to accompany him. They went through the forest path for the whole night, and thus brought him over the hilly tract of land. Text 34. After crossing the hills, Sanatana Goswami told his servant, Ishan, I think you still have some balance left from the gold coins. Ishan replied, I still have 1 gold coin in my possession. Sanatana Goswami then said, take the coin and return to your home. 36. After departing from Ishan, Sanatana Goswami began traveling alone with a water pot in his hand, simply covered with a torn quilt, and thus lost all his anxiety. 37. Walking and walking, Sanatana Goswami finally arrived at a place called Hajipur. That evening, he sat down within a garden. 38. In Hajipur there was a gentleman named Srikanta, who happened to be the husband of Sanatana Goswami's sister. He was engaged there in government service. 39. Srikant had 300,000 gold coins with him, which had been given to him by the emperor for the purpose of horses. Thus Srikant was buying horses and dispatching them to the emperor. 40. When Srikanta was sitting in an elevated place, he could see Sanatana Goswami. That night, he took a servant and went to see Sanatana Goswami. 41. When they met, they had many conversations. Sanatana Goswami told him in detail about his arrest and release. 42. Shrikant then told Sanatana Goswami, "Stay here for at least 2 days and dress up like a gentleman. Abandon these dirty garments." 43. Sanatana Goswami replied, "I shall not stay here even for a moment. Please help me cross the Ganges. I shall leave immediately." 44. With great care, Shrikant gave him a woolen blanket and helped him cross the Ganges. Thus Sanatana Goswami departed again. 45. After a few days, Sanatana Goswami arrived at Varanasi. He was very pleased to hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival there. 46. Sanatana Goswami then went to the house of Chandrasekhar and sat down by the door. Understanding what was happening, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke to Chandrasekhar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "There is a devotee at your door. Please call him in." Going outside, Chandrasekhar could not see a Vaishnava at his door. 48. When Chandrasekhar informed the Lord that no Vaishnava was at his door, the Lord asked him, "Is there anyone at all at your door?" Chandrasekhar replied, "There is a Muslim mendicant." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately said, "Bring him here. Please bring him here." Chandrasekhar then spoke to Sanatana Goswami, who was still sitting beside the door. 50. "O Muslim mendicant, please come in. The Lord is calling you." Sanatana Goswami was very pleased to hear this order, and he entered Chandrasekhar's house. 51. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Sanatana Goswami in the courtyard, he immediately went up to him with great haste. After embracing him, the Lord was overwhelmed with ecstatic love. Text 52. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana was also overwhelmed with ecstatic love. In a faltering voice, he said, "O my Lord, do not touch me." 53. Shoulder to shoulder, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sanatana Goswami began to cry unlimitedly. Chandrasekhar was very much astonished to see this. 54. Catching his hand, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Sanatana Goswami inside and made him sit on an elevated place next to him. 55. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began cleansing Sanatana Goswami's body with his own transcendental hand, Sanatana Goswami said, "O my Lord, please do not touch me." 56. The Lord replied, "I am touching you just to purify myself, because by the force of your devotional service, you can purify the whole universe." 57. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Purport. This verse was spoken by Maharaj Yudhishthira to Vidura in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.13.10. Vidura was returning home after visiting sacred places of pilgrimage, and Maharaj Yudhishthira was receiving his saintly uncle. In essence, Maharaj Yudhishthira was saying, "My dear Lord Vidura, you yourself are a holy place because you are an advanced devotee. People like you always carry Lord Vishnu in their hearts. You can revitalize all holy places after they have been polluted by the pilgrimages of sinners. A sinful person goes to a holy place of pilgrimage to be purified. In a holy place, there are many saintly people and temples of Lord Vishnu. However, the holy place becomes infected with the sins of many visitors. When an advanced devotee goes to a holy place, he counteracts all the sins of the pilgrims. Therefore, Maharaj Yudhishthira addressed Vidura in this way. Since an advanced devotee carries Lord Vishnu in his heart, he is a moving temple and a moving Vishnu. An advanced devotee does not need to go to holy places, for wherever he stays is a holy place. In this connection, Narottam Das Thakur states, Tirtha Yatra Parishrama Kevala Manera Brahma. Visiting holy places is simply another type of bewilderment. Since an advanced devotee does not need to go to a holy place, why does he go? The answer is that he goes simply to purify the place. 58. Name Bhaktas Chaturvedi Mad Bhakta Shapachak Priyaha Tasmai Deyam Tato Grayam Sachapujo Yatayaham. Lord Krishna said, even though a person is a very learned scholar of the Sanskrit Vedic literatures, he is not accepted as my devotee unless he is pure in devotional service. However, even though a person is born in a family of dog-eaters, he is very dear to me if he is a pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activity or mental speculation. Indeed, all respects should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are as worshipable as I am. Purport. This verse is included in the Hari Bhakti Vilas 10.127, compiled by Sanätana Gosvämi. 59. One may be born in a Brahmana family and have all 12 Brahminical qualities, but if he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who has a navel shaped like a lotus, he is not as good as a Chandala, who has dedicated his mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the service of the Lord. Simply to take birth in a Brahmana family or to have Brahminical qualities is not sufficient. One must become a pure devotee of the Lord. If a Shwapacha or Chandala is a devotee, he delivers not only himself but his whole family. Whereas a Brahmana who is not a devotee but simply has Brahminical qualifications cannot even purify himself, what to speak of his family. Purport. This verse is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 9, 10. A Brahmana is supposed to be qualified with 12 qualities, as stated in the Mahabharata. Dharmas cha satyam cha damas tapas cha amat saryam rish titikshānusuya yagyas chadanam chatritihi shutam cha vratani vai dvadasha brahmanasya. A Brahmana must be perfectly religious. He must be truthful, and he must be able to control his senses. He must execute severe austerities, and he must be detached, humble, and tolerant. He must not envy anyone, and he must be expert in performing sacrifices and giving whatever he has in charity. he must be fixed in devotional service, an expert in the knowledge of the Vedas. These are the 12 qualifications of a Brahmana. The Bhagavad Gita 1842 describes Brahminical qualities in this way. Shamo damastapak shaucham chantir arjavam eva cha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahmakarma subhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. In the Mukta Palatika, it is said, Shamo damastabak shaucham chantyarjava vidaktayaha jnana vijnana santoshta satyat stikye dvishad gunaha. Mental equilibrium, sense control, austerity, cleanliness, tolerance, simplicity, detachment, theoretical and practical knowledge, satisfaction, truthfulness, and firm faith in the Vedas are the 12 qualities of a Brahmana. Text 60. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu continued, by seeing you, by touching you, and by glorifying your transcendental qualities, one can perfect the purpose of all sense activity. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. Purport. This is confirmed in the following verse from the Hari Bhakti Sududaya 13.2. 61. My dear Vaishnava, seeing a person like you is the perfection of one's eyesight. Touching your lotus feet is the perfection of the sense of touch. And glorifying your good qualities is the tongue's real activity. For in the material world, it is very difficult to find a pure devotee of the Lord. 62. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu continued, my dear Sanatana, please hear from me. Krishna is very merciful, and he is the deliverer of all fallen souls. 63. My dear Sanatana, Krishna has saved you from Maharaurava, life's deepest hell. He is an ocean of mercy, and his activities are very grave. Purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 1861, Ishvarah sarvabhutanam riddhishar dunatishtati. Staying within everyone's heart, Lord Krishna works very gravely. No one can understand how he is working, but as soon as the Lord understands the sincere activity of a person in devotional service, he helps him in such a way that the devotee cannot understand how things are happening. If the devotee is determined to serve the Lord is always prepared to help him. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami how merciful the Lord is. Sanatana Goswami was a minister in the service of Nawab Hussain Shah. He was always mixing with materially inclined people, particularly with Muslims, meat-eaters. Although he was in intimate touch with them, by Krishna's mercy, he came to find such association distasteful. Therefore he left them. As stated by Srinivasacharya, Chaktva Tornamashesha Mandalapati Shrenim Siddha Tuch Chavat. Krishna enlightened Sanatana Goswami in such a way that he was able to give up his exalted post as minister. Thinking his material position insignificant, Sanatana was prepared to become a mendicant. Appreciating the activities of Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised his action and thanked Krishna for his mercy upon him. 65. Sanatana replied, I do not know who Krishna is. As far as I am concerned, I have been released from prison only by your mercy. 65. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked Sanatana Goswami, how were you released from prison? Sanatana then described the story from beginning to end. 66. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I met your two brothers, Rupa and Anupam, at Prayag. They have now gone to Vrindavan. 67. By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami met both Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar. Tapan Mishra then extended an invitation to Sanatana, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sanatana to go get a shave. 69. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Chandrasekhar. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Chandrasekhar and asked him to take Sanatana Goswami with him. He also asked him to take away Sanatana's present dress. Text 70. Chandrasekhar then made Sanatana look like a gentleman. He took him to bathe in the Ganges, and afterwards he brought him a new set of clothes. Purport. The words Bhadra Karana are significant in this verse. Due to his long hair, mustache and beard, Sanatana Goswami looked like a Darvesh or hippie. Since Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not like Sanatana Goswami's hippie features, he immediately asked Chandrasekhar to get him shaved clean. If anyone with long hair or a beard wants to join this Krishna consciousness movement and live with us, he must similarly shave himself clean. The followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu consider such long hair objectionable. Sanatana Goswami was saved from a hellish condition, Mahā-raurava, by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahā-raurava is a hell wherein animal killers are placed. In this regard, refer to Srimad Bhagavatam 5:26, 10-12. 71. Chandrasekhar offered a new set of garments to Sanatana Goswami, but Sanatana did not accept them. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard news of this, he became unlimitedly happy. 72. After bathing at noon, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the house of Tapan Mishra for lunch. He took Sanatana Goswami with him. We'll stop here. We'll start again with text 73. Hare Krishna. Sanatana Goswami ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Okay, any reflections? Any discussions? Comments?
Brian Phillips says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, so nice to see you. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Dr. Brian. It's nice to hear from you. I look forward to seeing you too someday.
Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj, thank you for delivering the sublime message.
Hare Krishna. Just a peon trying to deliver the mail. That's all.
And from Saloni Sachi Sundari.
Saloni Sachi Sundari. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your devotional service, all glories to the nectar of Caitanya-caritämrta.
Jai, all glories to Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Noel.
Noel.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj. She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for your service of sharing this daily nectar with us. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
From Gopakanya.
Gopakanya.
Says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And Sudevi Dasi says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Very sweet to hear. Thank you.
Haribo, Haribo.
And Stefano says, Haribo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. And we'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same place, same subject. We'll hear the beginning of the instructions of Lord Chaitanya to Sanatana Goswami. We're so fortunate to be able to be close to these personalities, not different from being there. If we hear with the proper mentality, it is not different from being there when Lord Chaitanya instructed Sanatana Goswamis. See you tomorrow night. Hare Krishna. Glories to Prabhupada.
So there's one more comment that just came up from Raja Lakshmi.
Oh, Raja Lakshmi. Hare Krishna.
She says, Hare Krishna, dear Maharaj. All glories to your service. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Raja Lakshmi. I'll see you fairly soon, within a few months. More of the same. Hare Krishna.
Something came in from Tri Yuga Das also.
Okay.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for this wonderful reading. I have read this chapter several times, but hearing it from your lotus mouth, it was as if the story had come to life. It's like watching a movie. This explanation of Srila Prabhupada was wonderful. Staying within everyone's heart, Lord Krishna works very gravely. No one can understand how he is working, but as soon as the Lord understands the sincere activity of a person in devotional service, he helps him in such a way that the devotee cannot understand how things are happening.
Exactly.
If the devotee is determined to serve the Lord is always prepared to help him. Tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te.
Exactly.
All glory to your service.
All glories to your realizations. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.